Hi, friends. We're gonna take a little bit of a deep dive tonight and talk about the subconscious mind. You have probably heard a lot about reprogramming of the subconscious mind and how we can do it through affirmations, subliminals, meditation. But what is the subconscious mind exactly? And how is it programmed? And why do we need to reprogram it? Uh, from my personal experience and things that I have read, I most resonate with Neville Goddard's ideas on the conscious and subconscious mind. He calls the conscious mind the male aspect and the subconscious the female aspect. And the conscious mind is the mind that we call like our mind, like our thinking mind, the mind that decides and can pick an idea that it wants to realize, the mind that's used to make conscious decisions with I want this, I don't want this, I would love that, I want to be like this. Whereas the subconscious mind is the part of the mind that the idea is impressed upon, and it's like the womb, it generates it, nurtures it, and brings it into being. And the subconscious mind is what our body uses to maintain all of the processes and functions that go on, uh, which we never have to think of, but our nails grow and the cells bring, the blood brings oxygen to the cells, and there's so many super complicated processes that go on inside of us. We're a whole universe of systems and organs and constellations of cells that we never think about, and forget how miraculous we are and how all of this is maintained by the subconscious mind. So when we understand how those two work, then it's like, oh, well, that's very simple. Then I'm going to come up with an idea. Hi, Tony. Uh, and then I'm going to focus on that idea. And by focusing on that idea and feeling the feeling of the wish fulfilled, because the subconscious mind responds through feeling, I'm going to manifest it, right? Super simple. Super simple, yeah. But mind you, your subconscious mind has already been impressed with a lot of other ideas. And chances are that you have a program running in there that is actually contrary and opposite to the idea that you want to manifest right now. And that's where it gets really interesting if you go down that rabbit hole, because you start to stumble upon blocks. And then when you open the door, it's like that cave that you fear to enter, which holds the treasure you seek, if we have to quote Young. And it can be a while to first be brave enough to venture into the darkness. Second, be brave enough to go through it. And third, be brave enough to make it until you see the light, because the light is always at the end of the tunnel. But the question is, do you have the guts to go through the tunnel in the dark? And if we start to do that work, we realize that a lot of these ideas were assumptions that we um, adopted in childhood. For example, let's say you decide, I want to make a lot of money, I want to be a millionaire. Uh, or, if you don't want to be a millionaire, you just want a specific large sum of money for whatever it is that you need. This is all wonderful. And according to the law of assumption, you decide with the conscious mind, I want to make, let's say, $1 million. And then you give the idea to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind will produce it for you, and through intuition, give you hints for inspired action. Yes, that is correct. But what if that hint comes and your conscious mind suppresses it somehow because you decide, oh no, this is silly, or this is dangerous, or this is, and it's like that's where we start to catch those programs running, because okay, good, you decided that you want to make $1 million, but what if you have a program running from your childhood saying that rich people are evil? So then you have a contradictory program, and because rich people is evil is an older program, uh, when you try to install the new program, it's conflicting with the old program, and all of a sudden it can't run and you're stuck. And when you find yourself in limbo, you can either through repetition get the old program out, or through shining the light of awareness and examine yourself and going through that cave. And that is the case for a lot of things. And where it gets really interesting is when you go deeper and deeper, and you start to realize that the subconscious hold the memory of past lives, and all of the collective memory, and all the times when rich people were murdered for their money, or other people betrayed them, or bad things happened to them because of the money. And it's like all of that programming of fear. And it takes just becoming conscious and aware of it, and realizing, you know what, that was in the past. But now it can be different, and it's going to be whatever I decide it's going to be. And if you manage to be that conscious and aware, then you break through all of that, because you shine bright the light of awareness, and all of the darkness in that cave is completely illuminated. And when you illuminate the darkness, you realize the cave is actually gone and there's only light. And in that light, when you become very conscious and aware, you can very easily install that new program, because basically you have entered what I think Joe Dispenza calls it, like the what does he call it, like the space of basically like just pure consciousness, zero nothingness, blank space, tabula rasa. uh, and in that space, like beyond any conditioning, if you become that aware, and you can achieve it through meditation, basically you transcend all of the conditioning, you can easily install the new program, because there are no programs there. It's beyond that, it's just pure consciousness. So that is the easiest way, and you can achieve it through meditation. uh, I guess it's the easiest, and just presence. And meditation doesn't necessarily have to be sitting cross-legged, but meditation is any activity that puts you in flow, where your conscious mind is not really engaged, but you're completely immersed in the moment. And it could be just being in nature, playing a musical instrument, creating art, um, any of those activities. It can also be achieved if you are practicing conscious sexuality. So, and the space of orgasm, when you are making love, which is, you know, like with your heart in there and the other person's heart in there, and not just sex, but really like communing with the other person and being in that space of love. And when you orgasm, you experience that, you know, it's called little death. And in that space where you lose consciousness, like of who you are, but you don't become unconscious. Instead, you elevate to a higher state of becoming one with everything. Then you can install a new program very easily, because you have merged with source. So this is like how interesting the subconscious is, and how we can reprogram it. And you can do it with affirmations. It's very receptive to repetition and feeling. through visualization, where you visualize the thing that you want. And let's say in the case of becoming a millionaire, it's good to think like, why? Like, what is your reason? What do you want to do with that money? Do you want to travel the world? Do you have like, do you want to build like a animal shelter? Like, what is your cause? And the cause should be something that lights you up, that really lights your soul on fire, and brings up so much passion in your heart. And the more heightened the emotion, the more receptive the subconscious is. So, whatever it is that you want, think of the feeling that thing is going to bring you, and let that be your motivation. And make sure it is something that is aligned with your true self, and not something superficial. Uh, yeah, it gets very interesting. And actually, if you go deeper into the subconscious, and if you go through um, those blocks, you can also gather a lot of essential pieces of your soul, like fragments and memories, because past the fear, uh, there's a lot of wisdom when you go through the barrier of courage. And it becomes a very interesting journey in the, let's say, underworld of your emotional landscape, which is directly tied to the emotional landscape of your parents and your whole lineage, and uh, past lives and people that came before. And it's this extremely vast universe that is inside of you that you can explore. Uh, and I know that people do, like plant medicine to go on these trips. I've never done that. I'm just like very pure in that respect, in the sense that not that plant medicine is impure, but I just like to utilize my consciousness and really hone in on it, and deepen the quality of the light. So it's something that you can totally do on your own, but you have to be aware of what you're doing, because sometimes you can unlock a Pandora's box, which could be hard to handle, and you might need a teacher and a spiritual advisor, or somebody like a shaman who is aware of and has done their own journeys and knows how to support you. Because this is definitely not work for the faint of heart, and it can bring up a lot of stored uh, emotions, which are usually difficult to deal with, like grief and shame and guilt and fear. And it's in that complexity of emotion where you can learn a lot about, let's say, for example, you want to make a lot of money, but there's something blocking you, and then you realize there's actually guilt that you're going to surpass everybody from your family, and you're going to do better, or like everybody from your friends group. And through unpacking that emotion, you can realize, you know what, I am going to in a way surpass them, but at the same time, when I realize more of my potential, maybe that will inspire them. And then by unpacking uh, that like shame and guilt, you can actually utilize it to propel you to fulfill your desire, and see it as like you becoming something more than what you were before. Instead of threatening and intimidating people, can actually be inspirational for them, and show them that if you can do it, they can do it too. And naturally, some people can take that route and others can take the other route. But again, this is not your responsibility because other people's emotions are never our responsibility. Our responsibility is to really know ourselves and get deeper into our emotional landscape and resolve any conflicts and learn from the depth of our emotions more about who we are and what we came here to do.